In this bulletin, Ministry of Health reports dengue and typhoid outbreak in the Northern Division. 6 appear in court for alleged marijuana cultivation in Kandavu. And Fiji Elections offers to conduct first trade union elections. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. There is an outbreak of dengue fever and typhoid cases in the Northern Division. This has been confirmed by the Health Minister, Tshone Usumate, Watisoni Raikondroka reports.
The Northern Division is experiencing an outbreak of the mosquito-borne disease called dengue fever.
At the moment, we've had a number of cases of dengue in the Madhuwata subdivision, precisely in Lambasa and in Senganga, and we are calling this an outbreak of dengue.
Health Minister Tshone Usumate confirms the cases have been verified following laboratory tests. Usumate says residents in the Northern Division should take this matter seriously and try to eliminate mosquito breeding places.
There is an outbreak of dengue and it's something that everybody in the north needs to take special attention to. We need to have a coordinated, concerted campaign in the north to get rid of mosquitoes, to get rid of where they breed.
The ministry will be carrying out spraying in the north to try and stop the spread of dengue. Usumate has also confirmed a number of typhoid cases in the north.
We have around 14 cases of typhoid in the Nambuwalu Subdivision Hospital and the Wainunu Health Center.
Usumate says these cases are localized and the public should be aware and take measures. The Minister of Health says with more rainfall expected countrywide, the number of dengue and typhoid cases are expected to increase. The public is advised to take precautionary measures to prevent themselves from these diseases. Watisoni Raikondroka, FBC News.
6 people from Kandavu appeared in the Suva Magistrates Court this afternoon for their alleged involvement in the cultivation of marijuana on the island. In one case, 4 suspects, Laisa Tavailangi, Simeli Tamani, Elias Anambana, and Veramu Naivolivo, are alleged to have grown around 59 kilograms of marijuana. Their case has been transferred to the High Court and will be heard next Friday. The 4 have been remanded in custody. In another case, it is alleged Issei Mana cultivated 400 grams of marijuana. He applied for bail and is expected to reappear in court tomorrow with 2 sureties. He is now in remand. And another suspect, Melani Raitinga, was bailed for $500 and will report to Nambour Police Station every Monday or Wednesday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. It is alleged she was found in possession of marijuana. She has been told to remain in Suva until her case has been closed and will reappear in court on February 2nd. The government has deferred its free milk program for first-year students to a later date. All Year 1 students were to have received 250 millimetres of milk from tomorrow. A statement says the delay is because the administrative process has taken longer than expected. Education Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy apologised for the delay, adding he hopes the program will begin by the end of next month. The government allocated $3.5 million to the initiative for the promotion of good health and nutrition. Fiji Dairy Limited has been contracted to roll out the program. The Education Ministry is preparing new school bus vouchers for students. Education Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy says the new vouchers will be different from those used previously. Ellen Otorangai View reports.
Changes have been made to the school bus fare vouchers to ensure there is no abuse of the system in schools.
We are redesigning the vouchers on the name of the student and the school. So it won't, so each student, before it was a generic voucher. Now we are redesigning it on the student name.
From this year, the threshold for the bus fare assistance has increased from $15,000 to $15,600.
Any parent whose joint income is less than $15,600 will be eligible to get bus fare assistance or transport assistance. This applies to bus as well as RSL usage.
The assistance is open to all students, including those whose parents do not have any formal employment.
We do understand that in rural areas, they do not have formal income slips, pay slips. So in that case, they will need to provide a declaration from a JP, an advisory officer from the rural area, to certify that this is the overall gross income of this particular household.
The Ministry of Education wants all the processing work for the bus fare vouchers to be done within this week, so students are assisted from the first week of school. Application forms are available in district education offices and schools and can also be downloaded from the Ministry's website. Last year, the Ministry assisted 101,568 students under the scheme. It anticipates 100,000 more students to be assisted this year. Eleanor Turangaiwiu, FBC News.
The Fijian Elections Office will carry out its first trade union elections next month. Supervisor of Elections Mohammed Saneem says with the first public notice released on Sunday, work is now underway to finalise the procedures for elections for the Coral Coast Tourism and Catering Workers Union. Maggie Boyle reports.
It's a new dawn in trade union elections, with the Fijian Elections Office taking over the electioneering reins.
New thing when it comes to trade union elections, and the Fijian Elections Office, after having been given the responsibility, we have built into the electoral process for trade unions certain transparency measures in which we make things more public to allow members, to allow people who would like to study trade unions to have access to this information.
And the devil is in the details, with Saneem breaking out new processes and procedures for the unions.
We'll also look at finalizing a voter list prior to elections. I think it's critical that that information is solidified before we even proceed to elections. The FEO will be handling nominations, so we will rely on the union rules for nominations, but the processing of nominations will be done by the FEO returning officer, and there will be an appeals objections procedure as well to allow for scrutiny of the nominations.
In addition, the FEO will be creating a form customised for each union based on their requirements as stipulated in their constitution. Saneem says a key area of focus will be making trade union elections easier.
Tools that we are working on currently is a vote from the mobile phone. So we will, once the system has been tested and pilots have been done, we will be releasing more details about it. At the moment, all I can say is that you can vote from anywhere in Fiji with your mobile phone.
There are 79 registered trade unions in Fiji, and most of them are scheduled to hold their elections in the first quarter. With 148 members, the Coral Coast Tourism and Catering Workers Union elections is expected to be a good testing ground for the Elections Office. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Coming up after the break, retailers pleased with last-minute back-to-school shopping. Welcome back. This is FBC News. The National Federation Party has questioned why cane farmers are not getting a special cane payment this year. However, Fiji Sugar Corporation Executive Chair Abdul Khan says not all cane farmers want the advance payment. Christopher Chand reports.
It's an issue that has become a challenge for some cane farmers who were expecting a special cane payment this month.
A number of farmers have actually come to us and says they do not need this special payment, because they were being paid quite a significant amount of money as the final wash-up payment for the season before. So they have got enough funds available to start the school. So rather than taking an approach across the board, it's actually targeting and assisting those people that need the assistance.
NFP leader Biman Prasad says majority of cane farmers need this payment to prepare their children for school.
20% of the farmers, elite farmers, who may not need that, but majority of the farmers in this country, sugarcane farmers in this country, are struggling, and they cannot wait for another 4 months to receive a little bit more income to look after themselves. This is a very critical period for many of them.
The option provided by the FSC is for farmers to apply for a loan from the Sugarcane Growers Fund.
At the same token, I'm comfortable. If a farmer's got a problem, it becomes my problem, and I'm happy to help him as much as I can.
It's very clear that the farmers have always been given special cane payments. The last one they had was around early December.
The NFP is again calling on the Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama to direct FSC to make this special payment. And it's believed stakeholders will make a request to the PM when he visits Singatoka this week. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
The Education Ministry plans to carry out major changes to the current school curriculum. Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy says one change will be to relook at the content studied at both primary and secondary school levels.
This year, we're going to undertake extensive revision of the curriculum, benchmarking it against some of the leading countries in terms of quality primary and secondary education.
The Education Ministry also aims to reduce the teacher administrative load by a minimum of 60% so teachers can spend more time with their students. And with classes due to start tomorrow, many parents were out in the capital city today in the last-minute rush to get everything prepared for their children. Sakius Ivor reports.
Scores of people flocked to shops today to pick up stationery and other school needs. Many children chose to accompany their parents into town instead of staying home on the last day of the school holiday.
My name is Atso. I'm schooling in Ajam. I'm in class 5.
Are you prepared for school today?
Yes.
Have you bought all your school books and your stationery?
Yes, I have. And all my pencil case and books.
Yes, I'm prepared for tomorrow. I bought my school stuff, so I'm fully prepared. And I'm looking forward to starting off with this year.
Thousands of school children around the country begin schools tomorrow. First school term ends on the 24th of April. Some shop owners we spoke to say the back-to-school sales this year have been good.
It's very good and all the sales is coming in and out. All the people were coming in and out buying the books and stationery. From last previous year, for me as I'm working in the company for Suva Bookshop, this year it's been good year for us.
Yes, back to school sale, it seems to be very good this year. In spite of government providing some books in schools, I have heard so, but still our business is going because parents, they want their children to be educated, see? So it doesn't matter the government is providing, but they want their spare book at home at least for the supplementary readers.
It was good, the price is cheap, and we're getting more customers every day. Yeah. But actually the problem was the government books, but all the books are going. All the exercise books are cheap.
Back-to-school sales are expected to die down by the end of the week. Sakyusa Neivua, FBC News.
The first female Speaker of the House hopes to see more women participating in Parliament. Speaking on FBCTV's For the Record last night, Dr. Chico Luveni says women make up 16% of Parliament and the goal is to achieve 30%. Akusita Tale reports.
The existing 8 women parliamentarians need to work hard towards promoting the participation of women in Parliament.
Whether they are ministers, assistant ministers, they will be looking at future women parliamentarians and providing them the mentoring that is needed and the advice that is needed, and maybe linking them up to the parties, to political parties, because that is where they will have to come through.
Dr. Luveni says the women parliamentarians should get involved in community work in the next 4 years to enable the public and voters to recognize their dedication.
Encouraging these women to be more involved in the community development process so that the voters recognize them as future parliamentarians that can represent their interest in Parliament.
Come the next elections, Dr. Luveni is hoping to see more women parliamentarians.
So the onus is on women to be convinced that it's the women that ascend to parliamentary positions, to leadership positions, that will take up the issues of women at that level. So we need to have the women to support women.
Dr. Luveni adds the onus is on the existing women parliamentarians to encourage more women to join Parliament. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
A Fijian soldier who was part of the multinational force observers in Sinai has died. Lands Force Commander Colonel Sitiveli Ngilio has confirmed that Private Malakai Naika died last week. The cause of death has not been determined. A memorial service was held in his honor yesterday by his fellow soldiers stationed in Sinai before his body departed for Israel. Colonel Ngilio told FBC News that Naika was scheduled to return home in March at the end of his one-year tour. 44-year-old Naika was originally from Naviango village in Lautoka. He is survived by his wife and 2 children. The Fijian contingent is one of 13 nations in the MFO in Sinai, and has one of the larger contingents comprised of 339 soldiers. New Fijian troops are expected to be deployed to Sinai in March, replacing the current contingent. And sports is up next. Here's Jamie with the latest.
Thanks, Jackie, and good evening. Up ahead in sports, Fiji Pearls and Silver Ferns go head-to-head in Oceania Tri-Series opener tonight, and Nandi Rugby AGM called off due to no-show by union executives. Details after the break. The Oceania Tri-Series starts at the Vodafone Arena in Suva later this hour. In the opening match tonight, the Fiji Pearls will take on the New Zealand Silver Ferns for the first time on home court. Rohit Deo with the details.
The game tonight will see former world champions take to the court with some of the biggest names in the game within their ranks. Coach Waimarama Taumaunu says this is another chance for her players to impress her for a spot in the team for the World Cup later this year.
So from our perspective, we have a lot of people in our group coming back for a second chance really, and they're looking ahead to World Cup selection, so they're looking to be in impressive form. Having said that, we haven't had our hands on the ball very much in the last few months. The focus has been on our conditioning, so it's a bit of a quick learning curve, and of course we've got 3 games in 4 days, and we find this a pretty hot environment, so there are some big challenges for us.
It will be the Fijian coach's first international outing in a new country, and says she is excited about the challenge.
It's a big start for 2015, exciting, and yes, like Mary, I'm new, so this is my first outing, so excited, but I think it's great that we meet the top 2 or the second nation in international netball so early in the year, and so that will we're all preparing for 2015 World Cup as Samoa as well, so it's a nice way to start. We know what the benchmarks are, and then what we need to do to work hard as we get closer to the World Cup.
Many may think that it will be a walkover for the Kiwis in the series, but the world number 2 side is not overconfident.
We certainly prepare in exactly the same way, and in terms of the game strategy or the game planning and also our physical preparation. Our expectation of Fiji, having a glimpse of them in the foyer, is they've got a bit of height in there, and no doubt they've got springs in their shoes, so keeping the ball flat will be a good start.
It will definitely be a tough task to challenge the Silver Ferns, but for sure a good chance for the Islanders to prepare for the World Cup in August. The match starts at 6:30 p.m. at the Vodafone Arena in Suva. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
The much-anticipated Nandi Rugby Annual General Meeting scheduled for yesterday morning was not held. Scheduled for the Nandi Civic Centre at 10 a.m. Upon arriving, FBC Sports was informed the AGM had been cancelled because the executive members were not present. So far, the AGM has not been rescheduled. Former President Sekove Tuilekamba and Westfield Executive Ratu Ponichese Rayasi will run for the position of President when the meeting is held. Members of the national table tennis squad are undergoing a 5-day training camp under the supervision of top players and coaches from around the region. New Zealand's 3rd top female player, Sophie Shu, in the country for a coaches clinic, has decided to lend her expertise to junior players and members of the national squad preparing for the Fiji Open.
Yes, so the kids here in Fiji, there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of raw talent that you can see if they have the right education or if they have the right guidance, they will go far. Some kids here they'll pick up a racket and you can tell that they just have a natural instinct for the sport. But I think the most important thing with us coming over is to really just provide some education and to provide some knowledge and some experience, because the experience we have, and that's our job to share it.
The training camp continues until Thursday and is the build-up to the Pacific Energy Fiji Open on Friday. The Fiji and Hong Kong national bowling teams will soon compete in a tri-series competition. This follows the Hong Kong Social Bowling Club's friendly match at the Nandi Sports Club last week. Captain Vincent Chung says this is a good platform to raise their standards of performance.
For our bowlers, most of them, not travel that frequently, but they pick up the green quite well, and that's the main thing. I have to train them when I go back.
Bowling Fiji life member Curtis Ma says they're discussing the tri-series tournament and the dates will soon be confirmed. The Bar football team has sent out a strong message to other teams that they'll be a force to reckon with this season. This after the side thumped Suva 5-3 in the opening match of the Pele Garments champion versus champion match yesterday. While the scoreline looked flattering, the Bar coaching staff says they still have a lot of work to do. Indra Singh has more.
Sola turns and drives, and Sola Wanga has made it 5-3.
As the fifth goal went in, the writing was on the wall that Bar is back with a vengeance this season and looks set to win its 19th CVC title.
Yes, CVC is not over yet. Anything can happen, and I know Suva is a very good side.
Lal started his new role as a coach on a flying note, but says the win was secondary as they still have a lot of work to do.
Pranil Naidu tapped away by Uliasi, following through is Shamil Rao.
And the preparation that we have done for this game, I think we have to double the preparation, because winning one game and then sitting back and relaxing is not there for us now.
The attitude of players has also been attributed to the grand start, with Lal maintaining a strict policy on who makes the game day squad.
Across in comes Avinaswamy, drives and following through and played through, and a lovely play through again.
It's like for Bar now, it's all performance based. Even though you are old, you still perform, you play in the team. And for the youngsters coming in, I know they are gelling in well, especially my under 20 boys. They're learning a lot from the senior boys, and the good part was that they work together.
Suva mentor Gurjit Singh was not a happy man with the loss, saying his team has a lot of work before the next game.
Defenders as we start play again. Puasambaini Balu on that far side, and Antonio Tibuna has pulled one back.
And hopefully the next game will be another very interesting game, and we'll be doing our best to at least win a game against Bar in Bar.
The return match will be played on Sunday at Govind Park in Bar, with the hosts just needing a draw to nail the series title. If yesterday's game is anything to go by, fans are again in for a treat and hopefully more goals. Indra Singh, FBC Sports.
Santi Cazorla scored a goal and created another as Arsenal ended Manchester City's 12-match unbeaten league run. The 2-0 win for the Gunners was its first at City since October 2010. Here are the goals. That is your sports for this evening. It's back to Jackie now with business.
The Fiji Sugar Corporation crushed close to 1.83 million tonnes of cane and produced 226,000 tonnes of raw sugar in the 2014 crushing season. FSC Executive Chair Abdul Khan says this is a good sign, considering their tonnes of cane to tonne of sugar is improving together with the quality of sugar. Khan says the challenge last year was the drought, which may have led to an increasing number of burnt cane received at their mills.
It's a lot better than where we have been, I guess, over the last nearly 10 years. Because one of the industry measure is TCTS, which is ton of cane to ton of sugar. That equates to roughly about 8.1 ton of sugar cane to 1 ton of sugar. And if we only go back about 4 years, it was close to 13.5 ton of sugar cane, so to produce the same amount or equivalent amount of sugar. So obviously the improvement's been there.
Fine weather prevailed over most parts of the country today. A trough of low pressure lies slow moving towards the Solomons and extends southeastwards over to Rotuma to Tonga to southern Cooks. Maximum temperatures reached the 30s today. Lautoka, Nandi and Suva hit 31 degrees, while Mombasa had the highest with 33. Tomorrow's forecast, some showers over Lau and Lomaiviti Group, the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands. Showers easing over Lau and Lomaiviti Group tonight. Elsewhere, fine apart from afternoon or evening showers. Isolated afternoon thunderstorms expected. Further outlook, expect some showers over eastern parts and the interior of the larger islands on Wednesday. Afternoon or evening showers and isolated thunderstorms elsewhere. And recapping our main stories, Ministry of Health reports dengue and typhoid outbreak in the Northern Division. 6 people appear in court for alleged marijuana cultivation in Kandavu, and Elections Office to conduct first trade union elections. To our poll segment now, the results of last week's question: should full banking services be available on Saturday? 92% said yes, only 8% said no. This week we're asking, do you support the reintroduction of external exams? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. That's our news for today. Join us again tomorrow. Bye for now.